Okay, welcome back to another video. So in yesterday's video, I talked about chart patterns and how you can use a secret ingredient to filter out the best chart patterns. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you more about how to draw that trend line, right? If you have not watched our previous video about the chart patterns and how to use the trend line to actually filter out the best double top, double bottom, head and shoulders, or inverted head and shoulders, then you want to make sure to watch that video after this, okay? So what is a trend line? Okay, a trend line is pretty straightforward. It's just a line that you draw connecting two swing points, okay? So let me just briefly explain to you what a trend line is first before I go into details about how to actually draw it correctly. Okay, so this is a trend line, right? What you're essentially doing is you are connecting two swing highs, right? If it's a descending trend line, it's just connecting two highs, right? You have one high here, two high here, and you are trying to predict the third high. Okay, so if you talk about a bullish trend line, then it's the opposite. You are trying to connect two swing low. Okay, let me just draw it nicely. So two swing low would be over here, the first one, and the second one over here, okay? So here's a quick tip for you if you are struggling to identify swing points, right? Like swing lows, right? If you're not too sure how to find turning points, then just switch to the line chart, okay? So you can see that there's one low here, there's another low here, there's another low here, there's also one here, okay? So that's a quick tip for you. Okay, this trading platform is a trading view. Okay, if you do not know this platform and you want to use it, check out our other video. It's called Trading View. Okay, so anyway, back to today's topic. You can see over here that that's how you draw a trend line. So in this case, you have one low here, you have the second low here, and you see the predicted third low here is it bounced off perfectly. So if you were just using trend line to trade, then and you're trying to buy pullbacks or retracements, then this would have been an excellent entry. Okay, so back to today's topic about how do you draw the so-called correct trend line. Okay, so let me just outline the step for you. You want to connect two swing points. Okay, so that was the factor that I just explained, right? The other one, the second pointer is that you don't want to cut the candlestick body. Okay, not to worry, I'll go into details about what I mean by this. Okay, just let me list out all the steps, and the last point would be touch as many candles as possible. So, you want to cut the candlestick body, sorry. Okay, so point number one, I already spoke about it. I already spoke about connecting two swing points. So you have one swing point here, two swing point. Okay, the second one is you don't want to cut the candlestick body. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Okay, let's just zoom in here. Okay, so in this case, you can see that when I draw this trend line, it is not cutting any of the candlestick body. Okay, if you are not too sure what a candlestick body is, check out our candlestick video. In fact, download a copy of our day trading guide. The link is in the description below. We teach you how to identify the what is the candlestick body. Okay, the guide is free anyway, so just make sure you download it. Okay, so you can see over here that we are not cutting any of the bodies. You see, of course here it cuts because this is when the trend line broke. Okay, but try your best not to cut. Okay, so do not draw trend lines like this. Okay, because it cuts so many bodies. It cuts this body, it cuts this body, it cuts this body, it cuts this one, it cuts this one, and it cuts this one. Okay, that's not a good trend line. Okay, you want to have a trend line that cuts as little body as possible. Okay, so in this trend line that I've drawn, you see that it sits nicely. You see it's just touching the candle low, touching candle low, touching candle lows, and finally you have a break over here. Okay, so let me show you one more example. Maybe let's look for, this was a ascending. Let's draw a bearish one. Okay. So another tip you can do is also you can on trading view, you can double click and you do the extend right line. Because if you do not extend it, then you need to drag it yourself, and sometimes, you know, the accuracy might be affected because, you know, you might not draw it perfectly. But when you know, you just do the extension, you just drag this to, you know, you connect this circle button to the point that you want to connect it to, okay? Okay, so let's talk about this descending trend line. So you can see over here that you have a you have a swing high here. So as I said, the steps is number one, you identify two swing points, right? Because you are trying to predict the third swing point. Okay, you want to not cut the candle body. So you can see over here that we are not cutting any candle body. Okay, so now let's talk about the third one. You want to touch as many candles as possible. Okay, so in this case, you realize that I do not draw it. Let me just delete this first. I do not draw it like this, you know. Okay, this is not really a good example. Okay, let's talk about maybe this swing high and this swing high. Let's say I'm connecting these two swing highs, right? Okay, I would draw it further down lower a bit, because if I would draw it like this, okay, basically I use this candle high, then it doesn't touch as many candles, right? In fact, it cuts over here, okay, because it kind of did a breakout. As you know, if I shifted it to like this, you see, this one touches more candle. In fact, you see this is a better fit because it breaks and, you know, it kind of cannot close above. And in fact, if you look at it over here, it's retested again. Okay, so you want to draw your trend line in such a way that it doesn't cut the body. Okay, it doesn't cut the candlestick body, and it touches as many candles as possible. Okay, this is just the two simple rules that will help you draw the trend line with the highest you know, highest accuracy. Okay, so you can see this trend line work brilliantly. If you drew it since here and you predicted this over here, you have probably caught this move. Okay, this one also. Okay, this one you probably will have stop out if you put your stop loss above the swing high. Okay, so let me just go through one more example. Okay, with the all three steps so that you can see you can have a holistic picture. Okay, so let's talk about this one. So step number one is you identify these two swing lows. Okay, if you can't see that this is a swing low, switch to the line chart. You can see this a low, this a low. Okay, then step two would be to draw a trend line. Okay, so as I said, don't cut the body. Do not draw it like that. Do not draw it like that. Right? Don't cut the body. Touch as many candles as possible. So in this case, right? In this case, this would probably be a better trend line than this, because this one would have predicted this perfectly. Okay, so you can see that when price broke it here, it kind of retested it and then it started going down. Okay, so that's how you draw trend lines. Okay, these are the three steps. Okay, if you need to write it down, let me just come back here. Right, you connect two swing points, right? Be it a swing high or swing low. Number two is you don't want to cut the candlestick body, and number three is you want to touch as many candles as possible. Okay, so this is how you draw a trend line, right? If you use this concept of trend line and integrate this concept with the candlestick patterns that we shared about in our other video, okay, just check out our channel. We have another video about the candlestick patterns, right? How we actually modify the candlestick patterns to have a higher probability setup, right? You definitely want to check out that video if you have not, because that's one of the most powerful ways to trade chart patterns, and that's also a video that you will not see anywhere else on YouTube. Okay, you will not even read it in any books, because most books will just teach you how to trade the normal, you know, chart patterns, which is your double top, you know, break off the neckline, you short, right? If it's a double bottom, a break off the neckline, you long, you know, it's in the head and shoulders, the break of neckline, you sell, and if it's an inverted head and shoulders, the break of neckline, you buy. Okay, but that's not what we do over here, right? We try to get a better entry that has a smaller stop loss, right? So that we can make more money, okay? So if you gotten value out of this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And as I said earlier on, we have a day trading guide at the bottom, so make sure you download it, okay? The copy is free, it's excellent for beginners, right? Chances are if you're watching this video, you are probably a beginner, right? So make sure you get that, it's totally free. Okay, if you have any questions, please comment down below in the comment section, right? We'll do our best to answer your question. Okay, we'll see you in the next video.